Welcome back, my boys and girls. So I just want to showcase a project that I've been working on for a little while. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be amazing to anybody, but maybe an inspiration to something that you could set up. I don't know. Educational purposes, obviously. That's what we do here is try to entertain, try to educate a little bit. But I'm really big into arcade stuff, and I love using RetroPie and a Raspberry Pi to do to play arcade games. That's really where it's at for me. So I have this right here set up with it's over 2,500 arcade games, I believe, or somewhere around that. So arcade, we do have 2367, plus we do have 140 Neo Geo, and then a couple Daphne. We got Dragon's Lair 1 and 2. Pretty good stuff. I might add to that later on down the road. But for me, for how long I've been kind of messing with this, testing some stuff, I have to just step away from this project for now. It's final in my eyes. The only reason I'm saying I need to step away from it and it being, even though it's final, is that I always go back to these things and start tweaking them. But I have other projects I need to work on and finish up, so I can't dedicate any more time to this at the moment. But I think probably in a month, maybe a month or two, I'm going to be doing some other stuff with this and kind of making it a little more shiny. I don't know how to say it, but maybe doing some little added features and whatnot to it. For now, I'm happy with this. 2,500 games, that's not a lot for a build. This 32 gigabytes has video snaps and all that good stuff. So that's the reason why it takes up so much space. But, 2,500 games is a lot. It's not a lot for a Pi image necessarily. But, I mean, how many games are you really going to play? For me, arcade games, I could probably narrow it down to like 100 must-haves. But beyond that, it's kind of hard. Would you really play every single game? No, you kind of go through it. That's the cool thing with, RetroPie or any of these kind of front ends, recall box, tracked mode, launch box, big box, hyperspin, all that kind of stuff. You could tailor it to your own needs. You don't have to have a setup with 80,000 games on it that you'll never play even a half a percentage of. So it's just, it's cool. That's why I like doing this, kind of messing around, finding stuff that I like. But I think at some point what I'm going to do, not necessarily with this, because this I see expanding some things that I don't really want to talk about yet, but I could see doing like a best of, like for myself, like my favorites in each system and my favorite arcade games. Like I said, top hundreds and stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. Most people, they want more and more and more. But like I said, you have more and more and more. You have a ton of stuff at your disposal. Where do you begin and where do you end? It's kind of cool to just narrow it down to the stuff that you want. But then at the same time, it is cool to have access to all that, thousands of games. Because, you never know. You could have a nice little bar top set up or unit set up. Family, friends come over. And, they're going to be into different stuff than you are. Or maybe somebody will, show you something you never heard of or seen of and be like, oh crap, I want to play that. So either direction you go is awesome. But for me, it's kind of like everything out there is just bigger, bigger, bigger. And that's cool. I'm even doing a 256 gigabyte image, and we just got a 200 image from Retro Nation that's just sick, in my opinion. So I still think those are cool, but it's just like, man, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? A terabyte RetroPie build? Well, actually, I know somebody who did that, but hey, it is what it is. As long as we're all having fun, no reason to fight and argue about stuff. But back to this project real quick. Like I said, it does have video snaps and all that good stuff. So it does, start with the still image, then goes to the video snaps. I want to say 99.99% of the games are set up that way, but there might be one or two that aren't. I'm not 100%, but I've gone through as best I can, making sure everything was set up properly. But there still could be a couple. So, like I said, 99.9% of them are set up that way and should be good. And then, the other thing, like this is Card Crazy from Dwayne Hurst. Awesome theme. You do have the Swine Apple theme on here, a bunch of other themes. Depending upon the theme creator, you'll have access to different collections with custom art and whatnot. Dwayne Hurst typically, puts in a bunch of, collections and systems, so you're pretty much covered any which way you want. With this, for me, I just have a few collections set up for specific arcade games like Street Fighter, Metal Slug, Mega Man, Donkey Kong, the CPS, Capcom stuff. Castlevania is kind of pointless because there's only one arcade game I guess you would really classify as Castlevania, unless you count like play choice games and stuff like that. But Haunted Castle is essentially a Castlevania game. Not very good, but hey, it's there. I don't know why the theme was tweaking out. I just messed around with some stuff beforehand, so need to make sure that VRAM is up and the memory split is at 512, and typically don't run into those issues. I'm going to have to change that for this one. But there you go. Just wanted to show what I've been messing with. This is not a huge project. This is a pretty basic one, but it does, consume time when you're testing things. Instead of just throwing everything together, you still can never guarantee 100% that everything's going to work perfectly the way you want it to. But I try to put in as much work as I can. So something basic like this, with 2,500 games, still took me a lot of time because arcade, like I said, I love arcade games on the Pi, so that's what I play and that's what I mess with. That's what I want to ensure works. Super Nintendo, when you do stuff like that, essentially that stuff just works, so you don't really test anything. Maybe one or two games, make sure your bezels are set up if that's what you're using and stuff like that. But arcade games, there's so many, variables with things, so I really try to make sure things are as solid as possible. But hey, I'm only human, can only do as much as one man with 3 kids and a wife sitting in a garage can do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really happy with this, very excited. I'm going to be putting it on either a bar top or a 2-player panel, something like that. But there you go. Enough ranting, talking. It's late at night. I'm just kind of rambling now, guys. Appreciate you guys, though. Appreciate all you guys stopping in, viewing this, smashing that like button, subscribing, doing all that wonderful stuff. So, nothing that we could really go over too much, just an arcade-only image. Smash that like button, do all that wonderful stuff. Now we'll catch you next time. It's time to go to bed, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye. Boom.